This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to Unrelent Gaming and all his social media platforms. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you can be the first to know every time that he uploads a new video.
Oh, did someone say Unrelent Gaming? Oh my god!
The fuck's up? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge!
With Super Dragon Ball Heroes Anime Episode 3 scheduled to air in September following its Episode 2 showcase and debut in July, we have brand new spoilers for Super Dragon Ball Heroes Prison Planet Manga Chapter number 3, which is the official Super Dragon Ball Heroes Prison Planet manga, in which right now we are about to further analyze, dissect, and break down the events of the latest manga chapter in order for us to gain a better understanding as to what is to come for the future of Super Dragon Ball Heroes. As once again, if you guys would love to be in the loop and up to date with all latest in Dragon Ball news, spoilers, and updates, then make sure you guys punch that subscribe button and enable all notifications to never miss a single upload as we kick off Super Dragon Ball Heroes Prison Planet Manga Chapter number 3 with the evil Saiyan Cumber having to stand over Final Form Cooler, who has been depleted of energy after having to take down Super Saiyan Berserker Goku, and standing over him are the shadows of Cumber's energy as Cumber looks to engulf Cooler in the same energy he did Goku, in possessing Cooler to turn against Goku, Vegeta, and the others, as Cooler really doesn't have the energy to stand back up, let alone fight against Cumber. All hope seems to be lost for Cooler until future Trunks steps in cutting through Cumber's energy, saving Cooler from Cumber's plan. Now keep in mind, at this given point, Cumber still has the straitjacket on, so it's not like he can actually use his hands in the form of combat now, but as soon as Trunks is able to gain Cumber's attention, out of nowhere, Goku and Vegeta step on in as both a Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, in delivering an earth-shaking kick to Cumber, in which sends Cumber flying away in the distance, which, to turn away from Trunks and Cooler, was a decisive plan from both Goku and Vegeta in getting Cumber's attention away from them in order to further catch him with a surprise attack in order to further create a plan to stop him. Now again, keep in mind, at this given point, Goku hasn't fully recovered, but he is using Super Saiyan God. Now you might be wondering as to why Goku is specifically using Super Saiyan God, and that's because he's out of energy for Super Saiyan Blue and he had to downgrade in using Super Saiyan God instead. And Vegeta is very happy that Goku has returned back to his consciousness, but there is something about the appearance of Super Saiyan God that enrages Cumber so much that it causes Cumber to break through the restraining jacket that was suppressing his power. Cumber didn't have an issue when he saw Super Saiyan Blue. Cumber didn't have an issue when he saw normal Super Saiyan. Cumber didn't have an issue when he saw Golden Cooler, but there was something very specific about Super Saiyan God that Cumber had seen that enraged him so much that with fire and fury within him, he charged back at Goku and Vegeta. Now this is going to play heavy at the end of this video, so make sure you guys tune in for that. But as soon as Cumber charges in for the kill, he immediately goes right back at Goku and Vegeta in knocking them both down. And with one single hit, we see how God Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta are basically laid out, and Trunks and Cooler at this point are basically left defenseless, as Oolong is panicking as well in seeing Goku and Vegeta on down into the dirt, not knowing what may come from this battle. We see how Cumber is just completely enraged on the thought of just seeing Super Saiyan God Goku, and Fu begins to observe this, as even he, the one who has orchestrated all of this, seems to be taken back as to how much power Cumber has, in stating, "So you were hiding a frightful amount of power, evil Saiyan," or no, Cumber, which is the first time the evil Saiyan is referred to by his real name, that having to be addressed directly by Fu as Cumber, as Fu sits back within his laboratory contemplating on how strong Cumber truly is. On the battlefield, Cumber takes action, and with Trunks noticing this, we get to see how Mai begins to remember something given to her by the Kaioshin. She begins to take notice that all of a sudden Cumber has now addressed Mai directly in shifting his focus directly at Mai, which of course doesn't change the fact that he does want Goku and Vegeta dead, but for the time being, Cumber has no preference. First come, first serve. As of course he directs his attention to Mai, all of a sudden, by the corner of Cumber's eye, he notices someone who looks like Goku beginning to whiz on by. And with that, Cumber, once again having to be enraged by witnessing Super Saiyan God, begins to directly attack Goku, or at least someone that we all assume to be Super Saiyan God Goku, as we see Cumber leap towards Goku's direction in reaching his hand out in his attempts to grab him. Once the face of Goku turns around, around, it is revealed that it's not Super Saiyan God Goku, but instead, it's Oolong. Now, you might be wondering as to why exactly Oolong took the form of Super Saiyan God Goku. It was the only other way to distract Cumber in gaining his attention while Goku and Vegeta executed their plan, which is in direct reference to what Mai was speaking about the Kaioshin in handing over the Potara earrings to both Goku and Vegeta, and just like what we've seen for the promotional trailer of the upcoming Dragon Ball Heroes episode, we are now all once again reintroduced to Vegito. Now, this was Oolong's plan the entire time, was to take the form of Super Saiyan God Goku, distract Cumber long enough while Goku and Vegeta fuse, and now having to stand a much better chance as a singular fighter as opposed to fighting Cumber directly one-on-one, Vegito Blue leaps in and attacks, as Mai reveals that she also gave them each a Senzu Bean, which implies that Mai had put her full trust within the Kaioshin in not only receiving the Potara earrings, but the Senzu Beans as well, just in case Goku and Vegeta needed it, and in this case, it delivered. Now, as Cumber begins to slowly turn around and acknowledging the fact that there is somebody behind him, he turns around only to be met by Vegito kicking and punching Cumber in the face, hitting Cumber so hard that it causes Cumber to stumble backwards, as of course we are introduced to Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. And at this given point following the Tournament of Power, a much more powerful Vegito than how we've seen during the Goku Black arc, which Oolong responds to both Mai and Trunks in swearing in his life that he will never do that ever again, because of course Oolong stuck his neck out just to protect everybody for a moment's notice. We go back to Fu in the laboratory and he seems to know about the Potara and is very delighted by these turn of events, in quoting and saying that he's glad that he had brought the pig kid along, and that transformation ability is surely interesting, as originally Fu thought that Goku and Vegeta were in fact weak, but we later get to see how Fu is beginning to broadcast on his Fu bot and saying, oh that's right, speaking of that, I gave Cumber one of the Dragon Balls too, which both Mai and Oolong are baffled at the idea that for them to leave they're going to have to gain the Dragon Ball from Cumber and Cumber having to be defeated. And in Fu's case, Fu doesn't seem to be worried at all because he's the one sitting back and watching the entertainment. As we get to follow up with Cooler, Cooler begins to watch Vegito and Cumber's battle from the sidelines, in which to the credit of both fighters, Vegito and Cumber go at each other with such force that they're beginning to exchange punches, exchange kicks, and Vegito's trying to blast Cumber, Cumber moves out of the way, so a base form Cumber is equal to a Super Saiyan Blue Vegito just with complete ease. He is able to not only contest with him, but is able to avoid all of Vegito's attacks, as all of a sudden retrospectively, we see how Vegito's energy blade and Cumber's energy blade begin to exchange, which in fact is a clash of Keyblades if you look at it from one point of view, as opposed to how we're looking at it from Cooler's point of view and seeing the way these two are fighting, and it looks like they're fighting at an equal level, and both of them seem to be tearing up the entire Chaos area, which in fact they are located within the quote-unquote Chaos area, that every single time Vegito and Cumber clash, they seem to destroy everything around them. And just as we see Trunks, Mai, and Oolong watching the fight, all of a sudden, Trunks gets ready to fight in assisting Vegito until all of a sudden, Ozato appears right behind Oolong in saying that there's no need. There's no point in futile battles, which he promises to see all of them again once they've all calmed down, and begins to slip away through a small portal, which to his credit, even though he's depleted of energy, Cooler is the first person to run after Ozato, determined to stop him, but unfortunately for Cooler, Ozato escapes. And with that, it leaves more questions than answers, especially for Trunks, Mai, and Oolong, because they've never seen Ozato before, but it looks like for Cooler, he has. And once more, as Fu is sitting back in his laboratory, Fu goes on to state the ability to move through space-time. That sure is handy, and he is very impressed. As he begins to look up and study Ozato, he begins to notice that Ozato does have the form to shapeshift and of course move throughout space-time, in which Fu goes on to state that guy is definitely one of the prisoners he handed a Dragon Ball, but he's having trouble remembering his name, until of course he pulls it up on his computer and stating Ozato, yep, that sure is an interesting guy. As we see Mai and a distraught Trunks having to stand there not knowing what to do, they begin to look out in the distance, and the battle between Vegito and Cumber intensifies so much that Cumber begins to transform into a Super Saiyan, and at that given point, assumingly enough, just like we're gonna see in the anime, Vegito begins to unleash Kaioken. So now we have a transformed Cumber versus Kaioken Vegito, but it looks like it's not going to end there, as Vegito goes on to state that it's time for him to get serious, in which Cumber replies by shooting off a ball of light into the sky, telling it to burst and mix, in which the dialogue itself used by Cumber is very identical to what we saw Vegeta do in the Saiyan arc, in and responding to Vegito that he is going to show him what it's like when he is serious. And that's when, of course, we get to see the unthinkable happen as Cumber looks up in the sky and he begins to transform. Hence why he had shot off the ball of energy in the sky, very similar to what Vegeta had done in the Saiyan arc, because Cumber's plan in having to fight Vegito is to transform into an Ozaru. His eyes begin to glow and his heart begins to pound, and at that given point we get to see the evolution of Cumber before Vegito and everyone else's eyes, in which as we transition back to the Chaos area, Cooler and Trunks emerge from the portal as they go through, but there is no sign of Ozaru. But instead Trunks asks Cooler why exactly they're going after him, as Cooler responds by saying why? Because judging from his remarks earlier, that guy knows where the Dragon Balls are, and that's exactly why Cooler's going after him, for the sole purpose of the Dragon Balls. As Trunks begins to ask, so there's someone with a Dragon Ball here? As Cooler replies by saying if there wasn't, then he wouldn't have come to this specific location, in which as we see Trunks and Cooler step over a hill, he finds the remains of the Frieza army, including King Cold, as Trunks also spots a cloud of black smoke, which of course by the end of the manga chapter we see the emergence of Lord Slug, Perfect Cell, Bojack, Turles, and Kid Buu standing right through the black smoke as the manga chapter comes to a close. Now we've learned quite a bit in this specific manga chapter, some of which I don't think we're going to see in the anime aspect of things, like for example the Ozaru and maybe even Majin Ozato, but we've learned that there's something about Super Saiyan God that makes Cumber feel so enraged, but he knows what it is, not necessarily knowing how to achieve it, but there's something about Super Saiyan God that Cumber had seen and experienced before that pushes him overboard so much that he nearly loses his mind. Now my only assumption here is I do believe that at some given point, again, this is my theory behind things, I think Cumber is in some way, shape, or form connected to what the original Super Saiyan God was that predates Goku and Vegeta. Who that may be, it could be anybody, it could be Yamoshi, we don't know, and that could be revealed in the future manga chapters for Super Dragon Ball Heroes, but for now, there is something specific about Super Saiyan God that really gets under Cumber's skin. Secondly enough, we get to see how Cumber in his base form is fighting off against the Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, in which he does require Super Saiyan to fight off against a Kaioken Vegito later, but then ultimately uses his energy in creating a fake moon and transforming into an Ozaru, as Cooler and Trunks are trying to hunt down Ozato, who in fact is also hunting for the Dragon Balls himself. Now how exactly this is going to connect to Super Dragon Ball Heroes Anime Episode 3, well, in fact we are going to be getting Kaioken Vegito versus Cumber at some given point, but are we going to see the Ozaru transformation? Are we going to see more of what's going to happen with Cumber and presumably enough the Xeno characters in the future, given the fact that we've already gotten the reveal of Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, so that may in fact be a thing, and I'm only assuming here now that Cumber is going to in fact defeat Vegito. How exactly he's going to do so remains to be a mystery as of right now, but I do believe that Cumber does possess knowledge of why he hates Super Saiyan God so much. There has to be a reason behind that, and the fact that Oolong was actually used as a decoy to gain Cumber's attention was really well executed in this manga chapter, which I really did enjoy given the fact that we really haven't seen Oolong do anything relevant in legit years. We haven't seen Oolong do anything of significant importance, and now he came in clutch by disguising himself as Goku just to gain Cumber's attention enough for Goku and Vegeta to fuse. Now again, we are going to be covering Super Dragon Ball Heroes Episode 3 and Super Dragon Ball Heroes Manga Chapter number 4 on the channel, so if you guys are new and would love to be in the loop of all latest of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, then make sure you guys punch that subscribe button and enable all notifications, and if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead and slap a big fat like down below if you guys are stoked, excited, and ready to see Vegito versus Cumber, as I am as well, because we haven't really seen Vegito fight someone of equal caliber to him, minus Zamasu with his immortality, in quite some time, so this is going to be the first time that Vegito is potentially fighting someone even stronger than him, and for me, it is something that I cannot personally wait for. So thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once again, I really did enjoy this manga chapter a lot. Compared to chapters 1 and 2, it was very engaging and very intense, especially when focusing around Cumber's character. I do believe that he is a very interesting character that a lot of us need to pay attention to and keep an eye on for future reference. But by the end, I would like to know what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Thank you all so very much for watching. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Also, if you guys have not, follow me on Twitter at UnrealEndGaming for more, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next Dragon Ball video. Q! my legendary outro, bitch.